I'm meteorologist Tony Petrarca in the Pinpoint 12 Forecast Center. You've clicked on the Weather Now link. Beautiful day after some pretty windy and obviously stormy weather last couple of days. Take a look at the high temperatures, and pretty nice for mid-October. Many areas in the lower 60s, certainly a lot better than the temperatures we've had the last couple of days. Don't be fooled by the relatively mild air right now. It's going to get real cold late tonight, early Saturday morning. In fact, even a frost advisory for some locations. At least the threat tracker now through the weekend is a low-level green, nothing really high impact. Though we are watching late Sunday evening, Sunday night with some interest, as we do have a tropical storm that is formed in the Gulf of Mexico. But let's take it apart here. First of all, frost tonight in some areas. Low temps by just before daybreak Saturday, about 35 to 40. Under clear skies. A nice Saturday, even though it starts off pretty chilly at sunrise. We'll warm up in some cases, 20, 25 degrees from the early morning low. Looking good. And a newly formed tropical storm, Nestor, in the Gulf of Mexico. We'll talk about that in more detail. Whether or not we can get grays with some showers from Nestor, Sunday evening, Sunday night remains to be seen. We're not expecting any kind of a direct hit or a big storm, but the remnants of it will be offshore, so we'll certainly watch that with interest, and we'll show you it in more detail in just a second. In the meantime, take a look at satellite, and skies are clear to partly cloudy, just some fair weather clouds overhead right now. Here's the wider view, and you can see the circulation in the upper right-hand side of your screen. That is what's left of our big storm from Wednesday night. You still got that counterclockwise circulation. The storm itself is now lifted up into the Canadian Maritimes and just circulating some clouds across northern New England. All right, take you to the Gulf of Mexico, and this is newly formed tropical storm Nestor. Watches have been posted, Florida Panhandle and parts of the Gulf Coast. Here's the latest from the Hurricane Center, and the new advisory actually comes in at 5 o'clock. In fact, Pete, you're working a blog on this too, right?
Yes, I am.
All right, so Pete Mangione, off to my right, is on the WPRI webpage. We have a blog link, and he's working on a blog talking more specifically about the storm. But 60-mile-an-hour winds moving northeast at 22, and there is the location, and there are the watches and warnings that have been issued from New Orleans all the way to the Big Bend in Florida, that area in orange. Now, the forecast track, taking it on shore, unfortunately, on Saturday, and then moving across the southeast is a tropical depression, and along the path, a lot of rain. And then as we get into, early next week, Sunday night, Monday, it is off the New England coastline, well to our south, but it remains to be seen whether or not the precipitation shield actually grazes our area on the Sunday evening, Sunday night time frame. Let me show you one of the more reliable computer models, what we call the European model, and this shows what's left of the storm, and it would be at this time probably a tropical depression by Sunday evening, taking that turn off the mid-Atlantic coastline and passing to our south. Some computer guidance has the precipitation shield. It's kind of grazing the area Sunday evening. Others have it just offshore. So how we're going to play it for Sunday right now is I think we'll start off with sunshine. We'll cloud up in the afternoon. We'll keep the daylight hours dry, and then maybe the south coast getting grazed with a little bit of precipitation, maybe some gusty breezes. But as far as something way out of control, as far as a storm right now, we don't see that. But obviously worth keeping an eye on, and we'll do that. In the meantime, take a look at the temperatures. Tumble overnight tonight. So by 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, the computer indicating temps, 38, 39, but there are going to be some rural areas that are down to like 35 degrees, so a little bit of frost. Look at the rapid recovery by mid-afternoon, upper 50s to briefly near 60, and then by Saturday evening at around 7 o'clock, we'll cool back into the 50s. So the frost advisory for the areas in blue, and here's the deal with frost. You may be wondering, well, why certain areas don't have the advisory. Once you've had your first widespread, well, it's based on two things: whether or not frost is going to form to begin with, and the other is if you've had a hard frost already, then you don't get a frost advisory again. So it's kind of a one-time deal, and that's why in this particular map it looks like a little bit of a jigsaw puzzle. Bottom line, it'll be frosty and cold everywhere, but for some spots, it's the first hard frost. All right, here's the deal for this evening. Looking good. Temperature, though, by 11 o'clock, 46. Obviously, grab a warm coat. Frosty, cold, early in the morning at sunrise. Now, that 38 degrees, that's your, 6 a.m. temperature. It won't be 38 and 11 a.m. Thinking by late morning, we're well into the mid to upper 50s. And then briefly nudging 60 by about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Saturday looking good with plenty of sunshine and dry conditions. So, cold night tonight, some frost by early tomorrow morning. Saturday looking pretty good. And right now, in terms of sunshine, going with a half and half Sunday. And if there's one bit of advice, I would say stay tuned for the forecast on Sunday as to whether or not that rain shield tries to arrive a little earlier or a little later. But right now, we'll go with a sunny start, cloudy finish, and then at least keeping the daytime on the dry side. That's your latest Weather Now update. Thanks for logging in. Don't forget, Pete's working on a weather blog on our webpage as well. We'll talk to you soon.